Welcome, subscribers, to the Dreary Eerie. My name is Brendan Wakely, and you can find me at Twitter at Maxwell A. Snow. Today we have a guest, AJ. Say hello.
My ears are bleeding.
Okay. Wow, we're very loud. Anyways, that was Liam laughing.
He is a cat. It's adorable.
And today we'll be talking about alternative history. I
that's not our. Is that our main goal? I mean,
yeah, we were gonna.
I don't think it should be because nobody will understand half we're saying.
Well, no, we're just gonna posit some questions. What if Hitler won World War II? What if Hitler won World War II? What if Hitler won World War II?
That is too much asked. Okay, let's get a more creative question. What if Winston Churchill was Hitler, but he was actually the ruler of Mali?
Yes.
I don't know what I just said.
What if Hitler was actually the leader of Ireland?
What if Hitler was the entire Illuminati?
What if the Illuminati is just a whole bunch
of rich
Tuvaluan douchebags?
The only person who's rich in Tuvalu is the guy who's the prime minister. The rest of them are just poor fishers. He just lords over them all. I have an internet domain name and you don't. No, actually,
That's
see,
how people
Hitler is actually Haile Selassie, and when he comes back, the Rastafarians are actually going to worship Hitler and become Nazis.
What if Bob Marley is Hitler?
He's Hitler reincarnated.
Remember, we're not saying that this is the truth. We're just saying that in another timeline, this could have been the case.
If the alternate history, if the alternate universe theory is correct, this is all true. The Game of Thrones universe actually exists.
I don't think that's how it works. I don't watch Game of Thrones. Okay, is there anything we can actually say besides starting with some questions?
Ask me anything about history. No, that is poor people.
Yes. Anyways, Paradox.
Best company ever.
Sweden.
I don't think this is alternative history. Maybe
Paradox is alternative history.
What if the Swedish invaded England instead of the Danes?
I don't think they're close enough yet. They can't get the Casus Belli.
Okay,
that's how history worked, right? You had to get Casus Belli. If you converted to Mongol culture and you were in Spain, you could still get the kingdom history.
Additionally, the Swedish were already over their war score.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, they had overextension, and they're combining EU4 and CK2. Yeah. They were overextended.
Yes.
After conquering the Duchy of Västergötland.
Yes, there you go, everyone. We just answered that question.
What if America had succeeded in completing Manifest Destiny?
We would currently be speaking Americanese.
Yeah, we would be speaking
wacko-ass bitches.
American English. What? Okay, then.
Okay, what if the Haitians invaded China and won? I don't know why I picked Haiti, but yeah, the Haitians...
If the Haitians successfully invaded China...
The world would be ending.
Very difficult. Well, obviously what would have happened is they would have enslaved the Chinese populace and forced them to work on rice plantations.
But they would have converted them to sugar plantations because, Caribbean, I almost said Hawaii.
Somehow they would have repeated exactly what happened in the U.S. They would have somehow created cotton farms in China and forced them to work there.
They have this tiny cotton farm on the top of a mountain.
What time period are we talking about, though? Are we talking pre-colonial Haitian?
Yes, pre-colonial Haitian.
Future.
Just the Carib people.
Okay, yeah, because
they all got together now in Haiti and they just took their army over to flipping China.
Yeah, why did they go to Haiti to begin with?
They were just making fancy calligraphy, and the Haitians just just came in with nuclear weapons. I don't know how they got them. Basically, a time traveling gypsy. Just I don't know why I said gypsy.
Yeah, but that's
just came and gave the ancient Carib people nuclear weapons and they invaded.
Let me say what I just heard. They gave the ancient carrot people, carrot people, nuclear weapons.
You see, the pre-Columbian people, pre-colonial people, were actually carrots. We've just made them into root vegetables through a process of inbreeding.
So I like the Manifest Destiny question, actually.
Yeah, that's much better than the tangent I went on.
Now, see, this is the thing. Really, as far as it affects Canada, it's not too much. It depends. If we're talking about 1812, their attempt at Manifest Destiny,
Yeah, that one.
That's a very interesting. Like if they had succeeded in conquering all of Canada, which well, honestly in difficulty isn't that hard to do.
Quebec revolts,
Not-
conquers America, new Holy Quebec theocracy.
I thought you were gonna say New Holland.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily.
Create
You
New
see,
Holland.
the Pope decides to relocate after Quebec conquers all of North America. The Pope decides to move the papacy to Montreal,
I don't think
and
that'd
then he
be-
takes over. Then he usurps the Quebec leadership and it turns Quebec into the new papal states.
I don't think it's necessarily true that it'd be easy to invade Canada because
Massive landmass in general.
Yeah.
Attrition and overextension.
Probably
Because you see, EU4 is historically accurate.
New Brunswick and Nova Scotia would probably be particularly difficult targets actually
Yeah.
to take.
And just think about it, it'd be kind of like when Hitler tried to invade Russia. No one was really prepared for the conditions going on there.
Of course, Russia had a numbers advantage as well, whereas
yeah.
Canada would not have.
We have a number.
such an advantage.
We have a huge
But
disadvantage.
we're assuming in this case that they succeeded in Manifest Destiny.
So that would mean
Canada would.
I go with my Quebec theocracy theory there.
I think Canada would either be a state or a number of states.
Can anybody actually hear me? I'm behind the computer.
Oh yeah, no,
people
no,
can
I
hear
can hear
Don't
you.
worry.
Actually, you're the quietest person, and you're actually perfectly in range. Oh, well, I'm actually pretty good here.
I think I'm going to go across you.
there's a number of. One question is Ontario has really nice weather. I'm wondering if they would have sent a lot of immigrants down here from the U.S. Considering that.
We already have a lot of immigrants here, though.
Yeah, but a lot of loyalists actually did come over. The late loyalists,
Yes.
so to speak.
Would there be so many, like,
loyalists.
in this area specifically, which is the Greater Essex District County, do you think that there would be so many, like, Italians in this area if America could
Oh,
succeeded?
yes.
Oh, most definitely.
We would have imported them by the busload.
Yeah, I would have thought that. I would think that wouldn't
By
really
Italians
have
involved.
too much of a difference. It's just because, like, think of the large Italian American areas in the U.S. are generally
New
down
York.
near this way, anyways. New York, Boston had a pretty decent amount as well. So that wouldn't change too much. I mean, this area is a rather similar climate to those areas.
I had a very interesting thought. Think if, we are presuming it's World War II.
The Fenians wouldn't have had to. If Manifest Destiny succeeded, the Fenians wouldn't have had a chance in hell at beating the British at all because they wouldn't have been able to invade Canada because Canada wouldn't exist.
Was the Fenians like that weird rebel Irish group?
Yeah.
How about let's say they won and actually, what was their goal to make Canada part of Ireland?
It's World War II. America, which has invaded Canada and has succeeded on taking it over, has decided to not get involved with World War II as they did.
I thought you were playing Pokemon on your phone there for a second.
No,
What
I'm
the
just
heck
not
is
paying
that?
attention. It's a flight simulator. I'm not paying attention. To
How
people.
can you talk and play a flight
I'm a professional.
flight simulators on your phone? That's heresy. Heresy!
I'm a professional at this. So
Heresy.
of course, like in what they did in our current timeline, which is the real timeline, we can presume. They didn't get involved. Since Canada before what would the battles be like? Would we have won?
Oh my
World War II
goodness,
battles?
World War One even would have been immensely changed. Because remember in World War One and World War Two, Canadian manufacturing had a massive effect on the British war effort.
I have no clue what battles we won in World War II. All I know is like the immigrants from World War One.
Without that support from Canada, it's very likely. Now, World War II, we're not saying that the British might have lost the Battle of Britain, but those were some much needed supplies they were getting. But they got needed supplies from the U.S. as well, so we can't really tell how this worked out. But World War I even, Canadians were a huge part of that war, and we manufactured a massive amount of even just British war armaments. Without those, the British would have been in much more dire straits. So I think taking Canada out of the picture in the early going in both of those wars causes like a massive effect. Hey, but at least the Americans get to say that they successfully liberated Italy as opposed to, them going into Rome after we cleared the way for them. That's right, America. You want to pick a fight? Well, I'm picking a fight with you.
I had an uncle.
Battle of Hong Kong.
Oh, Hong Kong wouldn't have happened, yeah.
Yeah, I have an
Dieppe wouldn't have happened.
I have a
Those both, because there wouldn't be, because that was a Canadian battle.
I had an uncle in Hong Kong.
No, I had an uncle who was in Sicily, actually, and he nearly spoiled the operation because he dropped his gun.
And good job, AJ's ancestors.
Yes, he almost blew the entire operation.
I'm just going to presume that you have Quebecois relatives?
I have none.
Okay, I don't know.
I am a half Italian, so I can solve his
The Quebecois don't mess up like that.
I'm a
true.
sixth. I'm a sixth French, a sixth Dutch, and a sixth Welsh. French.
Well, he's the king, apparently.
Do you say
Rolo.
okay, guys? Do you say pasta or pasta? I say pasta.
I say pasta.
Pasta or pasta, whichever. Depends on the
Which
day.
one's more correct? You should know.
I don't
Pasta. All my Italian relatives say pasta.
Oh, so that's rather interesting. I've always thought that the pasta was the correct way to go. Not the correct way, but I always thought it was the less
Cats-
harsh way to go about
Cats have paws. Pasta does not have paws.
it. Mm-hmm. Yes, but it's just a softer A
I-
sound, I find.
I just imagine like pasta, but with like cat paws at the end of it now.
Ugh.
Ugh,
Pasta's
it's
always
weird.
Yes,
Oh, did you ever hear like that April Fool's joke? Which like there was like these spaghetti plants.
Yes.
Oh
I've
yes,
seen
yes, yes.
Did you
Regardless, Brendan, fuck your country because they kicked my ancestors out.
Yo,
Fuck you, France.
Yo, all my countries. You're part of my countries, bro.
Thankfully, they
No, that don't let me move back.
Thankfully,
No,
the
not go back.
French
Screw you.
apologized in the 1980s, so it's all good now. We're
Mhm.
bros.
Liam can't complain.
Just give me the French
because
citizenship.
I'm
I'm all good
also
now.
Scottish, so he's also saying F you to Scotland and Ireland.
Well,
F you
my
to
family
half your relatives.
my family were royalty in Scotland, so we're at an impasse now.
My family.
You married Vikings. We beat up Vikings.
Yes, but now the Vikings are Norway, so who's
My-
laughing now?
Hey, my family
No one
probably
really.
is from,
Norway's pretty
the
boring.
Italian half my family is from
Good
southern
place,
Italy.
but
We
it's
probably
pretty
are
boring.
Vikings, so
Yes.
F you both.
Who needs Vikings?
Oh, the Scottish Vikings are the best. Anyways,
Italian Vikings for
what
the
if
win.
the Scottish had invaded Norway and gotten revenge for the disgusting atrocities
They would have.
Vikings committed that
Okay,
they
they
didn't
would
actually
have tried
commit?
to sail over the sea, but their inferior boats would have broken up on one of the coasts.
You underestimate the piloting skills of the MacDonald clan
They had none.
McDonald.
and their ability. Their motto was literally by land and by sea.
By sea, they mean by fishing boat.
Well, yes, by fishing boat, but by Viking fishing boat. The
That,
Vikings were insanely good.
They
the
were
Vikings
some of
would
the
have
best.
just sailed out and just mowed over the Scottish ships.
Fun fact for Americans.
The Scottish can't win any invasions.
No.
It's been
The
sad.
Vikings got to North America first.
I think everybody knows that by now.
Not all Americans know that for some
The
reason.
year 1000 was a glorious year. The
Christopher-
Vikings settled
Yes.
Finland.
The Christopher Columbus myth has just gone too far, and I still can't believe that he's supposedly an American hero. He's not even American. Just the
He's Italian.
The
Glorious Italy.
U.S. can like yeah. Columbus was also one of the worst mass murderers in all time, and he created the largest plague ever known to man.
It wasn't. How did he murder anybody?
Well, obviously he enslaved quite a few natives, and they almost all died.
If you want to murder,
But you-
look at Queen Isabella, who sent him over there.
Yes, but
The
regardless.
expulsion of the Jews.
Oh, but his treatment
But-
of the natives was entirely his decision.
Forced conversion of the Arabs.
He was no Bartolome de las Casas, you know.
Hmm.
That guy was pretty cool. Whereas, Columbus also responsible partly for the Columbian Exchange, which wiped out entire cultures.
Yeah, well, you can't be responsible for disease. It's the disease's fault.
Columbus
F
was,
you, bacteria.
we must remember still that Columbus was a complete dick. And we must remember that when we think
Well,
about
I mean,
it.
he did swear to his dying day that he had gotten into India. And by the
My book on
Greek,
Japan says that he might have been trying to reach Japan, and he thought Japan and India were the same thing.
well, basically, by the calculations by the Greek mathematician Ptolemy, how the heck do you pronounce that?
Ptolemy?
Ptolemy, he was actually where India should have been. Because obviously they didn't factor in for a third continent, I guess third.
Yeah, he was
supercontinent.
he was a good navigator. Well, he had good navigators, but he certainly wasn't a Viking. You go out there with absolutely no tools to be able to tell what direction you're going. You make it to North America. You somehow make it back to your homeland.
Okay.
Okay, the Vikings win at history.
We're on a tangent, by the way.
Yeah, okay, we need to talk about something else, really.
Okay, here's your next scenario. So the Vikings have landed in Canada, as they did, and instead of getting freaked out by the natives, they ended up, let's say they do and wipe out the natives.
They already did that. They historically wiped out the Beothuk tribe. I don't know how to pronounce it.
And they stay in Finland.
But then they got scared away by some of the other natives.
Yes, the Scalrigs, that they called them.
Yes, they called them
Scalrigs.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting name. Yeah. So the Vikings start a settlement. Very interesting, because they would have started a settlement in Canada.
Yeah.
It's not the worst land they ran into.
Okay, here's what happens. They actually managed to settle there, and when the homeland converts to Christianity, they stay Norse.
Yeah,
And they just cut off all ties to the homeland, and they make a giant empire. Then Columbus comes over and ends up consulting with the Vikings, who have then conquered all of North and South America.
yeah, and then that'd be very interesting. Then like the Vikings speak their own version of Old Norse that like exists.
And then they invade over the sea and they conquer all of Europe.
Or remember, they might become the they might become one of the nation of the Iroquois Confederacy. They might join the Iroquois Confederacy.
The seventh nation of the Iroquois Confederacy, Norseland.
Yes, the Norse join the Iroquois Confederacy. Then when the Europeans come over hundreds of years later and start, colonizing, they're just like, what the hell? Why are there white people here? Yo!
And they become hipsters.
Now you see, the North figure out how to figure out how to work steel very well, and they end up building skyscrapers, and so they just come and they see like bunches of forests, and there's one skyscraper just protruding out of the forest, and they're just like, what the heck?
There's a bunch of Starbucks has been created already. There's
Starbucks.
Okay, and then
North Starbucks.
For a series of wacky events, involving time travel, Vikings end up becoming hipsters, modern day hipsters.
They have like battle axes and flannel shirts. They have like skulls hanging around their necks and flannel shirts.
But that is actually an interesting idea if the Vikings had taken Vinland and just kind of started living there, because it's generally very good territory. Then they could have made it to the Canadian mainland. Would have been hell to keep doing boat trips over. But if they were able to make first off, that would involve colonization hundreds of years before it occurred in our timeline, and additionally, we'd have ended up with vastly different. Because then, what would even the colonization race have been like? It would have been.
It would just been the North and the North and the North.
Yeah, like maybe South America would still be contested, but like it'd basically be like
the North conquer the Aztecs and adopt their religion, but keep their language.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like basically the European powers are like, oh, we really need new territory. Maybe we should go look for new lands. Oh no, that's just where the Scandinavians are.
Dang it, Scandinavia, you beat us all.
Freaking Scandinavia.
And they just invade
Columbus ends up actually finding India.
He's just like, we'll just sail around Argentina.
You see, the Vikings actually built the Panama Canal. And so he doesn't realize it, but he just sails through the Panama Canal and finds
They built locks in the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah. Basically, they make our modern day society.
The country of Canada never exists because the British can't take it from the Norse. They're claiming us though, and the natives still get screwed over, except now it's by Norse who are now calling themselves natives.
But they're actually part of the Iroquois Confederacy, so the Iroquois Confederacy doesn't get screwed over. Everybody else can just...
Yeah, the Iroquois Confederacy ends up being the winner in this scenario.
Glorious Iroquois Confederacy.
The Iroquois Confederacy ends up...
And the Iroquois Confederacy then proceeds to invade their old Scandinavians, because they aren't really Scandinavians
Well, wasn't Leif Erikson in exile?
I remember, sort of.
I think because he murdered someone.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So no, they wouldn't...
He's like, let's call it Greenland, so people will actually come here.
Well, it was green at the time, then you had the Little Ice Age, and everything just...
Yeah, the weird Middle Ages, the weird Middle Ages climate shift that people can't explain, I guess.
It was an act of God! It was an act of Thor and Odin!
All of humanity...
To screw over the people of Greenland, and that's why they have the highest suicide rate in the world.
Yes.
All of humanity is wiped out in Europe from the plague. So all of that continent, all of the other continents...
So we have, like, reverse colonization?
Yeah, only North America's left.
The Aztecs come over to Europe.
Yes, and they find the last surviving Bretons.
Mm-hmm.
And they interbreed with them and then form the Breto-Aztecs.
The Breto-Aztec Empire grows
and spreads over plague-ridden Europe.
Finding any other surviving remnants of the old European culture and sacrificing them to the sun god.
But the Breton sun god, who's actually Jesus.
Jesus is the sun god.
Yeah, eventually their beliefs intertwine and they just start like Quetzalcoatl is Jesus now.
Is it
Jesus the flying snake?
Hold on.
With the head of a man.
Yes. We'll add the Egyptians in here,
wings.
just for the Egyptians into that religion.
What if the Egyptians defeated the Greeks?
We'd all be speaking ancient Akkadian now. I don't know why I said that, because that's the Assyrian language, but it just happens somehow.
It would be pretty interesting if because
stable.
Instead of becoming a freaking Greek state.
Because
fucking Greeks.
You know what's weird? Have you heard of the Seleucids?
Or was that the Romans? No, the Romans had works with them as well. Nah, freaking... I remember when they tried to amalgamate the Greek and Egyptian religions. Didn't work out. Did not work out.
They tried to amalgamate them?
Yeah, that's where we get Trismegistus from.
Trismegistus?
Like he's Thoth and Hermes at the same time.
Thoth and Hermes.
Apparently it's actually Toth. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce it. Just like how the one that looks like Seth is pronounced Set. You know? Set, the god, the freaking god of evil. Props to the Egyptians for having a straight up god of evil.
Yeah, and that's why everybody named Seth is actually Hitler.
Yep, basically.
You name your kid Seth, your kid is now Hitler.
How does that work?
You see, before Hitler died, he declared a gypsy curse on the lands, declaring that every child named Seth in the year
That'd be very
2015 would suddenly be turned into Hitler.
That's very offensive if he put a gypsy curse on people, considering what he did to gypsies. Mother, that guy's...
No, he tortured them for their secrets first.
I see.
Then he killed them so that he'd be the only one who knew gypsy curses.
This is freaking offensive.
It's very.
This is terrible. Can't
Terrible.
believe this is happening.
Sorry for anybody who is a gypsy. I respect your culture.
Terribly sorry. Let's see. What's another good topic? What if the 1798 rebellion actually succeeded? No,
Nobody knows who that is, Liam.
I
Nobody
know.
knows who that is.
I know.
Apparently, the 1798 rebellion is a person. From what I just said.
Yes, nobody knows who the 1798 rebellion is.
He changed his name legally.
Let's see.
He
was Hitler.
U.S. Hitler.
Who
Who was the U.S. president during World War II again?
Hitler.
Let's see. The British never successfully take Zululand.
And so the Zulus take over all of Africa? Well, no, I think they get defeated by the Boers. How do you pronounce that? B-O-E-R.
B-O-E-R. Those guys.
The Boers?
No. Oh yeah, the Boers. Yeah.
Yes, the Boers.
The Dutch colonists.
Boers?
Yes, but they get defeated by the Boers, and then the Boers take over all of Africa.
Ooh, that'd be an interesting. That'd be an interesting scenario. All of Africa ends up speaking Afrikaans.
Do you know that language has nothing to do with Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's actually Dutch.
It's just Dutch with a nationalistic spin for South America.
That's
weird. South America. Apparently, you speak South Afrikaans in South America, everybody. When you go to before you go to Argentina, learn Afrikaans.
Yeah, that's actually rather interesting. The Dutch have always been an overlooked group in history, despite the fact that they have had a very tangible effect
I love the Boers.
on the world.
The Borg come down from space, and
the Boers fought. The Boers did fight us really hard.
Yeah.
Us Canadians who helped out with the British fighting them.
They were like, okay, we're not going to directly help the Boer War, but if you want to, you
The
can.
Boers got German weapons too, which was pretty nice. But yeah, they fought a good fight.
I found a key.
Just couldn't win against Britain.
okay, the Borg come down from space, and they colonize Earth.
We go from Boer to Borg.
Star Trek.
The Boer Borg.
Okay, I guess that's their
Okay,
Doesn't that mean our history is done
okay.
after that, though?
But you see,
No,
the
we're
Borg
talking about
are
the Borg
actually the
history.
descendants of the Boers,
Ah, yes. Makes perfect sense.
who actually went into space and colonized Alpha Centauri, and
They
then
were the
renamed
descendants of
themselves
the
to the
Swedish
Borg.
chef.
And
Yerky gurgy.
They're descendants of the Swedish chef.
on
Hence the
every-
name Borg.
you see,
Yerky gurgy.
the Swedish chef was asexual.
The Swedish chef who spread his genes throughout the Boers in Africa.
No.
Oh god, the Boers!
No,
Oh,
the
God.
Swedish chef was asexual and he reproduced with himself and destroyed.
Why is he asexual?
I think a quote from Game of Thrones that is good here. He was the only man that could ever field an army out of his loins. And he did that, and he conquered the world.
Good.
With his infant
Excellent.
army of Swedish chef clones. There's like infant.
I'm still saying he has a cousin called Danish Chef that he just fucking hates.
Oh.
Fuck off, Danish Chef. Your language
No,
is
it's not that.
inferior.
Norman Danish chef.
Does anyone know who Chef Excellence is?
You're so off.
No.
Okay, Chef Excellence, I can't, no, we're not explaining Chef Excellence. Just go watch
What
that.
if Chef Excellence took over the United States
What
of
if the
America?
Chef Excellence took over the
It would be an
overall
excellent
free
country.
state?
Ah, beautiful.
Okay,
No one
guys,
knows what Chef
I have a
Excellence
serious
is,
thing
and
here.
It makes me cry.
This is totally serious. What if the descendants of the Swedish chef took over the Orange Free State?
Wait a minute, what?
Well, they
What?
figured this
Over
out.
the Orange Free State? What the fuck?
When
Why?
they figure this out, I'm just gonna.
Because wars.
Fuck
Wars.
you, West Germany! Oh.
Yeah, the Swedes invade the Orange Free State and make it their puppet, and they conquer South Africa.
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna drop this in
What was
Fuck
there.
you,
there
all
was
Germanic countries.
It was the Orange Free State, and what was the other one? Transvaal.
Ah!
F you, Transvaal.
Yeah, fuck you all. We don't give a damn about Dutch sovereignty either.
Mm-hmm.
The Dutch are just German,
The
but
Dutch
they
are-
cut
the-
out some more...
The Dutch are just Frisians in denial.
The Dutch
Frisian
are-
is the worst language ever, but it's also
The
best.
Dutch are just Germans without as much umlauts. As many umlauts.
No, I say the Dutch are just Frisians in denial. Everybody is Frisian. The Frisians take over the Orange Free State.
I know Dutch people. They'll hate me now.
Okay, the Frisians make their own country and conquer England.
Definitely. I can see that happening. Their languages are so damn similar that there's
The
nothing
language
to
even
stop
gets
them.
more similar.
There's nothing to even stop them from converting. English would jump on that.
Except the Frisians worship Tengri now.
Until eventually they're defeated by the Irish Republican Army, because reasons.
Yeah, in the year 1044, they were defeated by the Irish Republican Army.
Which rose about a millennia earlier than it normally
Yeah,
would.
nobody actually knows what a republic is, it just sounds cool.
Yes. Oh.
In the future, Japan gets enough power due to the space age where we can eventually create floating space stations.
I
Except
assure you,
the
you're not
thing
Japanese.
is,
You're not Japanese.
everything that
We already have
everyone,
floating space stations.
everyone becomes Japanese. What would happen?
Just one day, they're
I was
used
thinking
the Japan
a
array.
different topic. What if Japan's economy never crashed in the 1990s and it went on to become the world superpower?
Welcome to Japanese Russia. And
Welcome to Space Japan.
Everyone,
May I serve
everyone
you?
in the world instead, because the Japanese are such a xenophobic group, they're not going to want to learn English like the rest of Europe. Instead, they're going to make everyone else learn Japanese, which now becomes the new business language
it
of
becomes
the
the
world.
lingua franca.
Yes, becomes lingua franca of the world, and everyone has to speak it.
And now,
And the Chinese are just like, those characters used to be ours.
Except
Damn them.
they make them say instead of saying lingua franca, they find it insulting and make them say lingua japania.
Yeah, yes. Or they for some reason call it they for some reason call it lingua franca, but they insist in writing it in katakana, so it still looks Japanese.
The Japanese never invented their language. Instead, they ended up with Afrikaans.
Okay,
Makes
this is a
perfect
serious
sense.
thing there. Gunpowder
Makes
is
sense.
never invented.
Basically,
Obviously-
it becomes Spain Squintel becomes wherever.
Obviously, England ends up winning every single war because
Just
their
longbows.
bowmen are the best bowmen.
Yeah,
Training ever since the age of 14 to perfect the art of bowmanship.
the entire country of England can be called to war.
As you all know, the English
The
really
Battle of
pride
Agincourt
Yes,
happens every single time for the rest of history.
because no one ever learns. The English pride themselves very much on their bowmanship and
well,
their use of the
maybe not the
quarterstaff.
Battle of Agincourt, because they can never actually pierce the French armor, so...
Well, you hit them with enough of them and they just fall down and can't get back up because they're knights
Help
in heavy
me!
armor.
What
I'm
happens
told
when
that I can't get up.
That's what the pikemen are for.
would Ireland eventually find a way to
Yep, yep.
weaponize the bagpipes?
We would be currently all dead, because you see, they would play the bagpipes so loud, all in unison, that the entire world would hear it and die.
Like Ireland did, as opposed to Scotland?
Because Ireland was very drunk, and they've said this is our instrument right.
They just used the really
everybody
creepy
was
alien pipes.
everybody was Jack Churchill. What was his name? That was his name, right?
Everyone was Jack Churchill in World War II. That's true. He didn't use a gun. He used a bow and a Scottish longsword.
And a bagpipe.
Ooh.
A basket hilted Scottish sword, not a claymore.
Yeah, I know. It's similar to. It's more like the Sinclair hilt kind of longsword. Yeah.
We never
They-
invented the claymore.
Sure.
Instead, we had
Back to the
gladius.
Scottish
Everyone
swords.
had gladius.
Oh no! Instead of the claymore, the Scottish ended up inventing the Zweihander, which is exactly the same thing. The claymore and the Zweihander are like the exact same sword.
One-handed Zweihanders, though.
Yes.
One-handed Zweihanders.
Defeats
Isn't
In
that
the
like a
year
TV tropes thing?
That is a TV tropes thing. That's
Where
a-
like swords are like ridiculously big and they have like one hand. Just
Yeah, that's called
swinging
every
around.
anime ever made. Thanks, Japan.
Just as we predicted in 1999, the world did end.
Yes.
Well, that's a bit
world is
difficult
ending as we
to
speak.
do as an alternate history, considering history ends there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying we end. I mean,
Um.
what would the global situation be like? Because the
Ah.
1999
Hey, Hey guys, what time
And
do you
a
usually
popular
end
theory
this?
was that an hour long.
I think I have an hour.
Well, we'll cut it. We can cut it short. Anyways,
About half an hour.
that's interesting though. Actually, what's kind of interesting about that is I think that we'd immediately restore contact with the United States, considering we have physical bridges leading to the U.S. I'd say Canada and U.S. would get intact, but then the issue is communicating with each other. It would take a long time for word to get from like what's going on in Mexico, and would be entirely cut off from the rest of the world until eventually
what
some
was
dude
the alternate
decides to.
history here? All communications cut off.
Computers are
All technology is
crashed.
destroyed in
Okay,
year 2000.
okay. Let's get out the telegraph poles, everybody. Load up the Pony Express.
Yeah, get out the telegraph poles again.
One mistype and you've declared war on Norway. Congratulations.
How is it going? Stop. Scandinavia. Stop. Oh my gosh. No, what would that be like?
No, like the Queen is trying to send a nice
Declaring
letter.
war on Norway, that wouldn't be difficult. Like, before all the rest of the world gets its communication back, what we do is we declare war on Norway first, sail over there, kick their asses. Their 5 million people won't be able to stop us unless they immediately revert into Vikings when a declaration of war is on them. And since that didn't happen in World War II, I'm assuming it will never happen. But yeah, basically,
like
we
the
just
Queen
made
has like her
Norway.
telegraph and her corgis all over her. I don't know why. I just imagine like corgis all over her head, and she's typing a nice letter to the Prime Minister of Canada, and she ends up telling him to declare war on Norway. But she actually sends it to the Prime Minister of India.
I should specify. I mean, like when I say
The Queen's
technology,
right on this one.
Yeah,
I mean like computerized technology.
Yeah.
exactly. Telegraphs.
So telegraphs would still work.
Wouldn't phones still work?
Yeah. Well, not cell phones. Any landlines.
Yeah, so landlines still work, so really it's not that bleak of a situation, but still, communication would be hurt quite a bit, and people would kill themselves because internet isn't around anymore.
Yeah.
Well, this was in the early
okay,
days of the
here's what
internet.
happens.
Yeah,
Everybody
so
who has
not too
ever
bad.
said they'll kill themselves over something on the internet dies.
Yeah.
99% of the world population gone right there.
Hello! And then, yeah, we just, like, kind of... For some reason, the entire population of sub-Saharan Africa is just still there.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, time to start looting. Everyone gets on boats.
I have an interesting theory. We are the last 3 people on Earth. Except there's 3 females in another house just so we can keep population.
Oh, screw them.
First off, that will not work, because the population will become inbred and eventually just die.
You know what? If the French and the English and the Egyptians can inbreed, we can inbreed too.
Well,
if the Zoroastrians survived inbreeding, we can too.
Ooh, okay. Different timeline. What if Germany wasn't such a didn't make too many bad decisions in dealing with England and ended up getting England as an ally in the First World War?
The First World War would have ended with a combined Anglo-German victory. England would annex France, and Germany would annex everything else in Europe.
Second World War?
First World War, because we need to remember France and England hated each other so much up until that point. Like, basically, the Crimean War is what sealed themselves as allies.
Crimean, if I'm correct.
Basically,
You said Crimean. It sounds
France
like some
would
sort of
lose.
place in India.
Regardless, it doesn't really, like... well, neither of us is sure of the pronunciation, so it doesn't really matter.
They call it the
France would
Crimean
probably-
Peninsula, so Crimean War.
Yeah, I guess so, but regardless, I feel like that's a bit of a nitpick. Anyways...
I
can
feel like
nitpick if I want
what
to.
would happen
I'm
there
poking
would
your-
be...
your
Says the
nerves.
man who thought Fianna meant fricking deer. If you get to say that, I get to keep that one. Anyways, yeah.
Wouldn't it be like, Yeah, France would lose that because that means Canada would be on Germany's side. Germany.
Yeah.
Okay, here, if you get Spain on it, France is definitely screwed.
Well, yeah, France would have lost if Britain hadn't really sided with it, because those two combined were strong enough to fight Germany and Austria. But
I just imagine, like, Germany, England, Spain, and Italy just go on France and just like, okay, we have
of course,
energy,
Russia. Russia being allied with Serbia was a huge boon to the...
But they're also allied with France because they built all the railways.
Mm-hmm. So that was a big boom to the Entente. Anyway, well, Serbia being attacked by Austria started the war, so Russian involvement still would have been a guarantee.
Okay, here's what. How about Austria isn't idiotic and doesn't declare war on Serbia yet until after they win against their bigger enemies? Face your enemies one at a time, don't declare war on France and Russia.
Well, I think the issue with that being that Austria's only real beef was against Serbia. And that's the Germans said that they would come to Austria-Hungary's aid if Austria-Hungary was like attacked, and they counted the terrorist attack from a Serbian terrorist group as an act of war, whereas Germany probably wouldn't have backed Austria in any other bid of warfare. So yeah, Austria's beef was really with Serbia, and then it just spiraled out of control from there, and Italy got involved, and then Italy got involved on the other side, because Italy was like, oh shit, now we're losing this. But then Italy switched sides and had a really bloody conflict with Austria-Hungary. If you ever read about that, it was freaking brutal, but in the end, Italy basically defeated Austria-Hungary. Then Germany said, oh shit, we're surrounded, because Italy is now going to attack us from the other side.
I don't see why the Germans declared so many wars. They're in a terrible position, right in Central Europe. You're going to be surrounded.
But you know, they were Germany. They never lost a war before. They were
Holy Roman Empire.
Well, yeah, Holy Roman Empire. They didn't count that. Germany had a small attention span back then. They didn't care about.
Okay, what have we done in the last 5 minutes? We had a nice parade. Okay, declare war.
Yeah, I guess it's more like Prussia. Prussia had that whole never defeated mentality. Especially
America.
Prussia itself just kicked France's ass in a war earlier last century. I mean,
Prussia's really interesting. I mean, they were basically the Teutonic Order who converted to Protestantism and were like, F you Catholics.
Yeah.
Screw Catholics.
Oh yeah, so what if the U.S. actually admitted to losing Vietnam? Oh
God, half our viewers are gone.
Oh god, I think this might be a nice time to end it. We've already lost like 99% of our viewers.
Our average view time's like 6 minutes, sorry, anyways.
You also lost 1812 and the Bay of Pigs, especially the Bay of Pigs.
I don't think anybody thinks that they didn't lose the Bay of Pigs, but yeah, I think it might be a good time to end it. I think maybe shorter videos are a better idea.
Yeah, okay, so I think we've got some pretty good things to
We need an outro.
Just get everyone thinking. Okay, play me off, Brendan. Almonds.
Okay, I'm actually going to give us an outro.
No outros. Outros are evil.
Thank you for watching. Subscribers, follow me and leave a comment, like, subscribe. YOLO.
I've been AJ. This has been Liam, and this has been Brendan.
You can find me at Maxwell A Snow on Twitter.
In another universe, we're watching you.